Welcome back to the Gymkhana channel. Today is a special day because today...
Say welcome internet.
Welcome internet to the Gymkhana channel. Today is a special day because...
We're looking at the computer. So we're very happy and very proud that the biggest video that we've ever made with the Gymkhana series is over 100 million views. Actually almost 101 million. We're kind of late. We noticed this like several months ago, but it's taken us this long to get around to making something about it. So thank you everybody for watching. That's a lot of views. That's insane. So that was the last Gymkhana video that DC produced. So DC actually paid for and produced the first 5 Gymkhana films. And then from there, it's gone to different companies like Ford and Hoonah. But it's just pretty amazing that we've been able to make such rad marketing and have a lot of fun making these videos. Not only make them and get a ton of views, which is rad. Once again, thank you for watching. But we've won marketing awards. We've been recently nominated for Emmys for the Gymkhana Files, which is insane that we get to go out and have fun with cars, making super rad content. That's a lot of fun for me. And then get accolades and have a lot of people watch, which is super rad. By the way, come over here. 2 of the awards for Gymkhana FIVE are actually sitting in my cabinet. So this is a random cabinet. We have different awards and trophies around. Like there's an X Games trophy, Collins Crest Award, you know, different Rally America trophies. And then in the midst of all this is 2 what are called golden pencils. So these are marketing awards that we won for the excellence of the production of making Gymkhana FIVE. So another thing about this video is that it's actually featuring one of my favorite cars that you can kind of see right there. That's our Ford Fiesta HF-HV that was built to do Gymkhana, stage rally, and rallycross. And eventually we evolved that car into that car, the Ford Fiesta that was used in Gymkhana 8. So that's an evolution of that car. This car was built to be kind of a bit of a Frankenstein that we could do a lot of different things with it. But eventually we said, all right, trying to do all that with one car is too much. So we broke it down to mainly doing rallycross and being able to do Gymkhana also. So that car is still in the livery that we did Gymkhana 8 in Dubai and Terracotta.
And Ken, you said this is HFHV. What did that stand for?
Hybrid Function Hoon Vehicle. That took me a second to think of. So because we hit 100 million views, we put a question at the end of the last video, which was the Can-Am Tracks, you know, Shred of Boreal with Danny Davis. At the end here, way at the end, I asked some questions. Look, see there's Gymkhana FIVE there up in the corner. Look at all these bad stills of me. There we go, that sucks. Hey, bye. I've gone through all the comments to find my favorite comments and your questions. I found 20, then I've slowly broken that down to 10, screen grabbed them. All right, so the first question is from Terry1233. The question is, biggest difficulty in Gymkhana FIVE? How did you convince the city to shut down one of its main bridges for a YouTube video? So one of the biggest difficulties was actually shooting on that bridge. And the funny thing about that bridge is that was not a location we scouted. That was not a location we asked for. I never could have imagined that we could shut down one of the 2 biggest main arteries into the city of San Francisco and film on that bridge. But the city offered that to us. So there's a very good film commission there in San Francisco. There's very good cops that know what they're doing. They had a system of how they shut that bridge down early on a Sunday morning, gave us 10 minutes at a time to go out there, film what we need to film, and then move on, and then they would let the traffic go. So I think we did that 3 or 4 times. And so that was one of the things about shooting in San Francisco is it was just incredible to be able to shoot there and have the locations that we had. But then to have them offer us stuff like that, mind-blowing. The next question is from Scotty DOO46. They ask, why did you run one black wheel? Love the look, just interested why. You know, every time that we work on liveries for these cars, I have a lot of influence from, you know, what we are doing with DC or what we're doing with Hoonah, which a lot of that influence comes from streetwear, what's happening in the apparel market or the footwear market. So we're always trying to be on the cutting edge with that stuff because that ends up being the design into our apparel. I'm always trying to experiment and do new things and different things. And there's a good example right behind us, you know, using the turbo fan, and that wheel happens to be black. Both of them are black in the front, whereas, you know, the back wheel is white. And so I like the idea of just one wheel on that particular car being black. So we worked it out to be the front left wheel, and that was that. All right, well, the next question is from Anthony M. Says, did you have any idea when filming Gymkhana 5 that it would be the pinnacle of the whole series? I'm talking like this moment where you think, quote unquote, that's gonna be hard to beat. Number 5 must have all the ingredients that made the perfect Gymkhana suit. So I picked this one because it's kind of funny that we always set these bars that we try to achieve every time. Sometimes you don't know when you're going above the bar or you're setting a different bar. And Gymkhana 5 for us was just a crazy opportunity to be able to go shoot in San Francisco, like our first city element, and not have it be some like, you know, little city somewhere. It's one of the biggest, most known cities in the entire world. To be able to have the locations that we had and do all that, it was insane. We knew we were setting the bar at a new place, but we didn't know that everything that would come out of that, from like the drift jump to the Russian Hill tabletop jump to being out on the barge and doing donuts, all that stuff just was so much fun and so rad to do, but I had no idea that it would kind of set this bar that we would probably never achieve again. All right, well, the next question is from the OG Paul Molnar. He asks, what was it like scouting for Gymkhana 5? How did you guys figure out some of the stuff would work? The thing about scouting for Gymkhana 5 is we actually went to scout somewhere outside the city, and as we were coming back, and it didn't work, it wasn't good enough. So we're driving back into the city to go to the airport, and the scout that was with us said, hey, you know, I just scouted San Francisco for the Avengers movie. I have a bunch of locations. Do you want to go see them? And we kind of laughed, like, there's no way San Francisco's gonna let us do this stuff on the street. Usually the cops are kicking us out, not blocking the area for us to drive on. So we're like, okay, Scott. His name was Scott Logan. So we said, okay, Scott, take us, show us what you got. And he showed us some stuff, and it was amazing. Great, great spots. So we said, okay, here's a list of some other stuff we want. Tabletop jump, drift jump area, stuff down by the water. If you can find us this stuff, we'll come back and look and see if we can make a whole video out of this. So Scott went and found more stuff. And yeah, that is how really Gymkhana 5 came about. Really a big thanks to not only Scott and the effort that he put in, but, you know, to the film commission and all the people of San Francisco and the police department that kind of helped us and allowed us to do all these very unique things in that amazing city. Scott Logan won an award for the location scouting for Gymkhana 5. So that's another cool award that we got for it. All right, so the next question I have is from Iridium Flare. It's a two-part question. What was the top speed you reached in Gymkhana 5? And how many pairs of tires did you go through making the whole video? So the first part is, what was the top speed? These cars are geared for racing, rally, and rallycross. So they only top out at about 130 miles an hour. And I reached that, like topped out top of 6 on the bridge. So in stage rally and rallycross, there's actually no reason to go any higher than that. All the roads are quite twisty, especially the short rallycross courses. So rally and rallycross cars are not about top speed. It's about getting to that speed as top as possible, especially this car right here, do 0 to 60 in about 1.9 to 2 seconds. And the other question was, how many pairs of tires did you go through? Pair of tires is an odd term. We would call them a set of tires or just a tire. So a set of tires being 4. We went through about 10 sets, so about 40 tires. And the team was very smart about how we use the tires. For certain things, they'll use more of the rear than the front, so they'll rotate tires around and try and maximize the usage. We don't just do one thing, pull all the tires off and throw them away. We try and use every tire as much as possible and rotate them around. So that whole shoot that took, I think, 4 days was about 40 tires total, so about 10 sets. So let's take a break for a minute. To commemorate the 100 million views on Gymkhana 10, Hoonah has made 200 special posters from Gymkhana 5, and they're gonna go on sale this week, and they sent me 50 of them to sign. So the first 50 sold will actually be these signed ones. I'm gonna go sign right now. So yeah, go find those. buy them, order them.
All right, let's go authenticate these first 50 posters. I'll film you signing. Let's
All
go.
right, and there's another kind of special thing about these posters is that when we were brainstorming like the end of this video and we wanted a finish line, you know, we wanted some person in this like as a guy waving a flag. Thrasher magazine is based there in San Francisco, and a guy named Jake Phelps is somebody I've known forever, and he's a big figure in skateboarding, and really one of the core roots guys of skateboarding that really kind of keeps that punk rock and rebellious feel to skateboarding. And so we called Jake, said, hey Jake, love to have you come out and be the flagman for the finish of this video. So he came out, did the flag work. It's cool hanging out with Jake, having him part of the video, and unfortunately Jake passed away very recently, and so it's very cool for me to be signing these today and remembering him as part of that and a major part of skateboarding. He was part of kind of the fabric of what for me made skateboarding so cool with Thrasher and really his drive to keep skateboarding's, you know, roots alive in a fun punk rock and sarcastic and rebellious way. It's what I really enjoyed about Jake. So let's do this. All right, so if you see the poster here, there's Jake, right there waving the flag. There's all of San Francisco. There's actually the Bay Bridge right there, which is the start of the video. And if you look at this particular shot too, it looks like it's my first try through this corner. So I was able to do this several times. We wanted to get several different angles, and the wind was blowing really bad that day. So we moved some cameras around, got different shots, but this happens to be the first try through that corner.
I gotta highlight your first take, Ken. That's pretty darn good.
And so here it says, Ken Block's Gymkhana FIVE, the ultimate playground, San Francisco, which is the title of the video. And then over 100 million served with over 100 million views, and the photo there, credit of Tony Harmer, our photographer friend that shoots a lot of the beauty shots of the cars, but actually came out and shot action on this video. So where do you think I should sign for us? Usually I sign by my name, right? Like I would normally sign there, or I could sign here. How about I just try a couple different ways and we'll see what looks best.
All right, don't screw it up.
So that spot looks pretty good, right?
That does look really good. By the way, I love looking at this poster and just thinking about being on the rooftop of one of these houses.
So which one do you like better?
I think I like that one.
Yeah, I think
I like that one too. You got the Hoonah hit. Sorry.
Someone's gonna.
Do we only have 50?
There's only gonna be one with a left hand signature, and you know the forest screwed up and hit my hand.
There you go.
That dot,
that's all I got for you guys.
All right, the next question is from Obear11. It says, in Gymkhana FIVE, during your famous uphill drift, were you in any way a little nervous or worried about damaging the car? What they're talking about is what we call the jump drift. A little nervous or worried? Yes, very nervous and worried about that. That jump drift was actually inspired mainly by Rally Finland. So Rally Finland, there's these very big crests, and there's a lot of turns where the drivers are setting the car before the jump because they land into a corner. So they'll come over, you know, this crest in the air and land into the turn and keep going. I've always wanted to do that in the Gymkhana videos and do it, you know, as gnarly as we possibly could. And so in San Francisco, I was looking at all these different situations where I could do that. And San Francisco has these streets that come up and then flatten and then go up. And the reason why they're flattening is there's a street going this way. So I found this one in particular, and we used it for several different things, including a jump down. So I'd come up the street, get the car sideways and jump and land and continue a 90-degree turn and down the street. And yeah, I tried it several times, and I think it was the third or fourth try we got the shot that's in the video. And it's one thing to do that, you know, in a rally car on a gravel stage where you know the car's gonna land and slide, but doing it on very grippy tarmac or cut up concrete there and not have the car flip or catch or do something obscure was kind of a bit of an unknown because we didn't have other videos to look at of big drift jumps like this. So we were doing something a bit unique at the time, and so there was a nerve-wracking moment there when I started jumping bigger to really see what the car would do. So the answer is Yes. The next one is from Jack Wolf. Would you want to recreate Gymkhana 5 with the Hoonah or Hoonah truck? I was actually very amused by that question. I would absolutely love to, but those two vehicles, the Hoonah and the Hoonah truck, would get absolutely destroyed on the jumps. So I could probably do most everything in that video that didn't involve jumping, except for the drift jump. They could probably handle the drift jump, but anything where it's jumping this way, like the Russian Hill tabletop or jumping off the street and down, it would just destroy both the front ends of both those vehicles. So very good question. I would love to do it. Unfortunately, I could only do everything that mainly kept the vehicle on the ground. Action. Next question. Kyle Van Haster. Were you actually listening to Come Sail Away when filming the final scenes? Absolutely not. We were out in the middle of the bay on a barge with some very nervous, tense moments, trying to finish the video, and music was not something that was in my mind. But when Brian Scotto and Volkert, the editor, were in the edit bay working on those closing credits, they're trying to find boat songs. The thing about making these videos is everybody thinks, oh, you have so much time to do all this. Well, we had a very short time to finish the video, finish the edit, and music licensing is a nightmare, especially if you're trying to use bigger songs. So one of the songs we want to use, I can pull it up right here, is this. We can't play the music, but it's I'm on a Boat by Lonely Island. Wanted that video in there. Brian and Volker were just going through all the tracks that related to boats, and they landed on Come Sail Away, sent it to me. I laughed, said, yes, let's use that. And it happened to be a song that we knew that the licensing wouldn't be too difficult, so they were able to license it quite quickly and get it in the video. All right, well, the next question is from Marnus Borsama. Sorry that I butchered your name. And the question was, what was the scariest part of Gymkhana 5? The scariest part for me was actually the filming out on the barge for the credits. When I'm thinking through everything that could go wrong, the first thing that actually came to my mind with the race car was the throttle locking wide open. That car, as far as I recall, was it a cable throttle? Do you remember?
I don't. Ken, I was not working for you then.
Yeah.
Those early ones were cable though. I just don't know.
It might have been because I think the GRC rules back then were throttle cable.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the fear that came to my head was, what if the throttle locks open? And so I just thought, mentally in my mind, well, that would be the worst thing if I actually went into the ocean. And there was actually a boat circling around because the water was about 60 feet deep there in the bay. So if I went over the edge, I would start going down. A diver would go over and try and rescue me. And there was an air mask inside the car, all that sort of stuff to try and keep me safe. But if I went off, that would suck. So for me, the biggest fear was the throttle sticking wide open. I went off. So I just thought, yep, that happens. Clutch. Yep, I'll be safe. Clutch. So it's funny that I mentally went through that exercise. And of course, because I mentally went through it, then it happened. So we did have the throttle stick wide open. When I was out there on the barge, we were able to fix it quickly and keep doing what we needed to do. But yeah, that was a scary moment. All right, next question is from Laces Too Loose. How many GoPros were killed on the making of Gymkhana 5? And thank you, GoPro, for being a partner of us on our team, because man, I have actually killed a lot of GoPros over the years making these videos. And there were a lot in Gymkhana 5, maybe 40? And I say that because there was actually an array put on the ground. An array is where they do like the stop motion, frozen time type things. Basically, because of all these cameras next to each other, they can change the perspective. I know that there was one in the drift jump. There's a shot, but then they had one somewhere else, maybe at the bottom of Russian Hill or something, where I made the turn, where I actually hit it. So that was more than I think any other video because of hitting that array. A lot of GoPros get sacrificed. You put them in bad spots too. You put them where I might hit so it looks good on camera. But that's the great thing about the GoPros. They work so good for those cool points of view that you can't put a bigger camera. So anyway, thanks again, GoPro. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have other subjects you think I should make a video like this on, comment below. If there's different, cars you want me to talk about or background of other videos, give us ideas. I like making these types of videos, so let us know. Bye-bye.